What's up, y'all? This is yours truly, Gamers 9000, with a word to the wise, but I decided to go live. Um, it's been a lot of things going on with me lately, you feel, and it's not really bad things, just shit that I should have seen coming. Um, I'm gonna be the first to tell anybody who watches this video that if something is too good to be true, most of the time it is. Um, you can't just expect handouts all your life, and you can't expect to get shit for free. You have to work hard for everything. You know, speaking out today to parents, not even old parents. Like I'm talking about the newer generation of parents. Um, Number one, it's not okay to leave your children wondering who their real daddy is. It's definitely not cool. It's definitely not okay. It's not okay to try to find a father for your child when there's one that's willing to be there. You feel? Um, uh, I can't. Well, I despise baby mamas and baby daddies, and let me explain what I mean by that. Child's mothers and child's fathers are different because they actually want to do something better for their children's lives and actually do something to make themselves better and more successful in their lives. Baby mamas will ignore fathers that are trying to reach out to see how their kids are doing. Baby daddies will not even call to check up on their children and see if they're living and healthy. Won't even call to find out their favorite color, favorite foods, favorite anything for that matter. Um, the reason why I'm making this video is because I just need to give a shout out to the real ones out there. You know, the ones that are actually like they may not be together, but at the end of the day, they really be pushing forward to have their child know who both of their biological parents are, regardless of what the situation is, regardless of what relationships they're in, even if they're not in relationships. You feel? And another topic I'm going to touch on besides that is dealing with people who you don't, basically people that are not who they say they are. The one thing you got to realize about people in this world, unfortunately, is that most people will lie to you just to get something out of you. Um, there's women that have lied just to make sure that they're covered. There's men that have lied just to get into women's pants. There's a lot of people that have lied just to get into a situation they're in now, as of this current moment. And the way I look at it is that I'm not the lying type for the most part. Hell, I don't even lie to the police no more because it's like, what's the point in lying to them and they're just going to find out the truth anyways. Another thing I want to say is don't ever let somebody tell you your value. You have to know it for yourself. And you have to be able to determine who you are in this world. You feel? Hold up. Let me fix this chair real quick because I'm trying to sit up a little bit. You have to determine who you are from you, not from what somebody else tells you. You have to know your value before any other person tells you. Because if you don't know your own value, you're going to let people tell you your value and you're going to believe everything they say, even when they lie to you. And that's not good for anybody's health. You feel? Another thing I'm going to say is don't believe everything you hear. Believe half of what you see, none of what you hear, until you see proof. You feel? Because there's been too many people in my life and in my experience of living for like 26 years that somebody finds to be your best friend, possibly even your oh shit, excuse me, possibly even your family member will turn out to be one of your worst enemies in the future. Will turn out to be one of the people you should never gave a second chance to. Will end up being somebody you despise later on in life. And to keep that much anger in your heart is definitely not good for who you are as a human being. It's definitely not good for the soul, because you don't need to be that hateful type of person. You don't. Um, there's nothing good that could come out of being hateful. Always learn to forgive, because if you can't forgive anybody for what they've done to you, then you will never be able to be forgiven by God. And the way I look at it is, I have a lot of horrible shit that has happened in my life for me to be hateful. I do. And I have every reason to be hateful, but at the end of the day, I just expose the truth when it comes down to it. I'm the one person that is possibly in this world right about now, at my age, I would say, that really has a nice grip on the reality of what the American government is doing, or what society is as a whole. Because to be honest with you, the American government is making it okay to be bigots towards people that are seen as different, whether it's sexual orientation, culture, skin tone, doesn't matter. They make those people out to be the enemies, make them out to be the problems in life, but at the end of the day, the biggest issue we have is bigotry and judgment. And America as a whole has one of the most diverse, one of the most diverse settings than any other country. And at the same time, we have the most judgmental culture. And it's sad because it's not just white people doing it, it's not just blacks doing it, it's not just Hispanics, Asians, it's all of them. We're all being judgmental towards people we don't understand, or we don't get, or we can't comprehend, and it's not fair. It's kind of very unfair, to be honest, because we don't know half of these people that we're judging. Like, let me touch on a subject real quick. Kaepernick. To be honest with you, am I mad that he kneels during the national anthem? No. Because at the end of the day, it's standing up for what he believes in. At the end of the day, he kneels because of the bigotry and the idiocracy that goes on in our government to this day, and has been going on for the last couple of decades or so. And I can't say I hate the man, and I definitely don't hate Nike for sponsoring him. Hell, if Nike was going to sponsor anybody, they picked the perfect candidate, because he is the symbolism of what our country should be. Our country should be the people that, if they don't believe in what our country is doing, and what our society is doing, and what our whole diversity as a unit is doing, then take a knee. Because they say the land of the free and the home of the brave, but when is freedom really free? At the end of the day, when is freedom really free? You look at everything that people are getting super sensitive about. People are getting sensitive about religion, and they're getting sensitive about, like, who remembers doing this back in school? Like the Pledge of Allegiance. They took out the line "One Nation Under God," all because they didn't want to offend people. But back in the day, that didn't matter. Nobody really got offended by that, because at the end of the day, we are one nation under God. Period. I mean, and if you don't see your religious preference as you see God, I'm not going to knock you. I'm not going to hate you for it. If you praise Allah, praise Allah. If you praise Buddha, praise Buddha. I don't really care. At the end of the day, you have the freedom of choice to be what you want to be. And that's what most of Americans are forgetting. And it's sad to see, because we went from a society that accepted people for who they were, but didn't accept certain races, to them not accepting races, not accepting sexual orientations, not accepting religions, and then being sensitive about it. to me, our society is taking an ass backward spiral down. And, you know, some people are going to disagree with me in this video, and that's your preference, that's your opinion. I won't take it from you. But if you want to talk to me and you want to debate with me about it, we could debate for hours about this, because this is things I've been seeing since I've been able to remember. You feel, since like 4 years old, because I don't remember much before I was 4. But the way I look at it is, when I was growing up, I was picked on because I was mixed, white and black. I used to have rocks thrown at me by random people just because I was mixed. I used to be called the N-word just because people didn't understand what I was saying or what I was trying to get across to them. People have called me arrogant because when I popped the truth to them, they didn't want to hear it. I've been judged by the law enforcement, not even here, but I was judged by the law enforcement back in my home state, and my home state's Alaska. I was judged by the law enforcement in my state, and it was all because I was walking down the street on a cold day with a bandana around my face because I didn't want my lungs to freeze. I had 7 police cars pull up to me, guns drawn, because I had a bandana around my face. Little did they know that I'd be a person like this today to speak to the younger community and speak to everybody that really needs to hear it. And the one thing I will say about America as a whole, and will say about the law enforcement as a whole, is that not all American society is bad. Not all of law enforcement is bad. But the ones that are bad make every single one of them look horrible. And the reason why I say that is because if you can look up right now on YouTube or LiveLink right now, police brutality, and 75% of the videos you will find is against black males or black females or females in general. That's the fucked up part, because it's not just black people. It's a sex war. You feel? It's whites against blacks and men against women. Period. That's how I've been seeing it for the last, I don't know, decade or so of existence, and it's kind of sad to see how it goes, because the way I look at it is that I shouldn't be judged on who I am because of the color of my skin. People don't know me. Just like I'm not going to judge the next person down the street because they're white. I'm not just going to sit there and be like, oh, they're a racist bigot that wants to hang me by the neck. No. Hell, half of the time when I see a Confederate flag, I don't even get mad, because it's like, what's the use in getting mad about it? At the end of the day, that flag symbolizes one time of our American history to where we actually did something greater. You feel? Because at the end of the day, do I believe in Confederacy? No, obviously. But do I believe in being the America we were destined to be, the land of the free and the home of the brave? There's no bravery going on nowadays. And there's definitely no freedom. So at the end of the day, when Colin Kaepernick takes a knee, I agree with him. Because we are no longer the land of the free and the home of the brave. We are the land of the judgmental and the land of the bigots. We are the home of idiots and laziness. And I've seen that happen so many fucking times. It's ridiculous. It's appalling, because there's many times that I'm just like, I don't accept the fact that I'm an American. And I know how weird that might sound to some people, and I know what some people might comment. Oh, well then go back to wherever you want to go. I don't care what the fuck you got to say to me. At the end of the day, this is the way I see it. If you don't like it, hop off this video. But at the end of the day, if you do understand what I'm saying, keep watching, because it might get a little interesting for you. But when you look at half of the things that has been going on in American society for the longest, people, not even American society, social media, that's a good one. If you look at what's been going on in social media for the last decade, you'll see that most people on Facebook don't care about anything but bitches, pictures, beef posts, or memes. But when somebody really be posting something on Facebook that's actually meaningful, maybe 1,000 to like 20,000 people share it. Out of the whole world, I realize half of the world doesn't speak the same language, you feel? But at the same token, even in America, we have enough people to push around a positive message. We refuse to because we'd rather watch videos of people fighting. We'd rather watch videos of bitches dancing. We'd rather look at pictures of females hanging halfway out their clothes than to really look at a positive message and actually go forward and actually do something positive with that message. We see that positive message and we're like, oh, look, preachy, and we leave it alone. And I'm not gonna lie, I've been victim to that. You feel? I've done it. You feel? So I can't really just say that it's all of y'all when I've been the person to do it too. But ever since the day that this happened to me, like I had a bullet put in me, you feel? So ever since that day, it made me really open my eyes to what kind of person I need to be versus what kind of person I've been being. And the person I was kind of a fucking idiot, if we can be bold about the shit. Like, this is honestly for anybody that really listens to somebody, regardless of how they cuss. I don't care about sensitivity. I don't care about how your guys' view are. If you want to listen to some real shit, then listen to some shit like this. I realize that me cussing can make me sound uneducated, but at the end of the day, I can have a debate for hours with somebody about this shit. So, at the end of the day, you can call me an idiot if you want to, but at the end of the day, God knows who I am and God sees what I am, and that's all that matters to me. You feel? So, the way I look at it is we need to stop looking at the negative and everything. Social media, the society, the world, the American government. We need to stop doing the negative. We need to start coming together as a whole. We need to start coming together as a society. We need to start coming together as a people. Because I guarantee you, the one day that we actually need each other, like let's say an alien invasion happens, hypothetical. Let's say that the end of the world, end of days comes, you feel? Type of shit. I feel like that'll be the one day that the world actually reaches world peace. Because at that moment we will realize that we are all one and the same. That we are all going to die. That there is nothing we can do to delay our inevitability. And that's one thing that I've been thinking about for the longest time. Ever since I was like 18 years old. You feel? I feel like the only time that the world would come together as a whole is if we had a bigger enemy at hand. And it also scares me because at the end of the day, it might not even be that way. We might go from being close to being one unit as a whole to just separating completely. Because we want to do what we want to do, and there's people that think differently than other people, and people that don't want to come together as a whole, as a unit, to really do something positive with their life. Just like, prime example, I'm the kind of person that when I'm walking down the street and I see somebody that's a homeless vet, I'll walk up to him, sit down and talk to him for hours on end. And it's because so many people have walked past these veterans, people that fought for this country, people that have really fought for this country, and not even give them the slightest bit of attention. Half of the time they don't even want money, they just want somebody to hear their story. But people are mad about Kaepernick kneeling during the national anthem, but you be walking past a homeless person that served in your military, that fought for the freedom that you have to be as stupid as you're being right now. And that's sad. That's sad. Because I was one of those people. I served in the army, you feel? And I had my homeless moments after I was out of the army. And people walk past me, I wave at people, tell them to stay blessed. They give me rude comments back like, eat shit. And it's like, this is the fucking freedom I fought for? This is the shit that I fought for? For you to act like this towards me after I'm done with doing my shit? No wonder half of these veterans hate America. let me rephrase that. No wonder half of these veterans hate Americans, because they don't hate America, because that's the one reason why they joined our glorious military force, was to serve this beautiful country. But little did they realize how much ugliness was really in this country because of all the people inside of it. And it's sad. It's really sad, because look at how much they have sacrificed to get nothing in return. It's sad. I would have to say about, this is just an estimate, by the way, don't quote me on this. I would have to say about 30% of all Americans that serve in the military get their benefits and actually get recognized as veterans. The rest of them are thrown out in the streets. And if they're not thrown out in the streets, they end up going into the streets because of circumstances and situations. And everybody treats them like second-class citizens, but they're the ones that made you free today. Because if we did not have the United States Army, the Marines, the Navy, the Air Force, we would be screwed. Let's just put it in plain terms. We would be screwed as a whole. We wouldn't have freedom. We would have martial law. Shit would go downhill. And there's no reason that somebody at 18 should have to sign their own will over, just in case they die in combat, you feel? So for people to really be sacrificing that much to make sure you have your freedom, for you to just walk by them every day and act like they didn't do a damn thing for your country, you're no better than half of the bigots out here, as much as you want to claim to be godly and holy. You feel? As much as you want to claim to be a good Christian. To be honest with you, I'm not going to say I'm religious, but I'm spiritual. I believe in God. I don't know if that makes me any type of religious preference, but at the end of the day, I don't claim shit. Because at the end of the day, I know God has guided my journey, because if he didn't, this would have killed me. He would have let me die that day. He would have let me go up to the glorious gates to see my grandmother and my father. But I'm still here. And I'm thinking, maybe I'm here because I need to speak to y'all. Maybe I need to get y'all's eyes open. You feel? So, my word to the wise is going to be ended on this note. Don't hate something because you don't understand it. Come together as a whole to bring peace. Stop waging war on ourselves. Stop waging war with each other and actually become a unit. Actually become a team. Actually become the land of the free and home of the brave. This has been yours truly, Game Rich 9000. Thank you for viewing my demise. I love every single one of y'all. Peace out.